Hello, Instagram. I was planning to go live on Facebook, but it didn't let me StreamYard. So I'm going live here for another client spotlight series interview with my incredible, amazing, beautiful client, Diana. And I'm waiting for her to join us. And let me know when you are open on, if you see, hear me. Hello, Samantha. We are waiting for Diana. Here she is. Let's see if I can bring her on. Hello.
Hi. Let me just put up my volume. We made it.
We made it. How are you?
I'm doing super well. It's so sunny here, so I'm in between every call. I'm standing outside and reading and in the sun.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the StreamYard, but I don't know. You couldn't hear me. I could hear you. We do Instagram. It's easier.
We made it.
So for the people here who doesn't know you, tell a little bit more about who you are, what you do in the world.
Yeah. My name is Diana. I'm sure you can see that on my Instagram. I'm a love coach, and I work with women essentially to help you really embody your feminine, speak your truth, and experience love with ease. Who doesn't want that? So I work with women who are single and in relationships as well. And I am currently pouring my love into my 6 month inner circle, School of Love, the inner circle, which starts next week. And I'm so excited about that. Yeah, we're here.
So exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your journey, like, how did you started this business and where you are right now?
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny because like I never know how far back to take this question. I've actually been helping people with their relationships since I was like 9 years old. Like it's something I've legitimately like was born loving to do. And then in 2014, something like that, 2013, I met Jack, who's my husband now. And I was experiencing like all the shifts with him of the inner work I had done. And so I started to write online about like blog posts, like, just about being conscious in this new relationship and how this relationship is different. And people were engaged, and I started to host meetups in the city, and I did it every month for a year, and people were coming until somebody asked me, can I work with you one-on-one? And I was like, I don't even know what that would look like. And so I started, and I did it for free for a while. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Claudia.
And I was just like playing with this idea. I was just like, okay, this is fun. Let me see what this process is. And they were getting beautiful results. They were referring me. And then somebody asked, what's your rate? And I threw out a number. And it started. Like it truly, the path found me. Like I didn't know that love coaching was a path I could take. And then I got my certifications and I did all the things, but I had a thriving business even before doing that.
There is a lady here who works with you. Said Diane is the best love coach in the world. So happy for the work we are doing together.
Aww.
Hi, Lisa.
I can't see who said that. Oh, Elsha. Hi, my love.
Hi, Roxanne. So yeah, I remember listening to to a coach who said, like, if you want to get clients at the beginning, just say I'm a coach. I coach people. Like, it's not so complicated how we made it to be.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, saying I'm a coach was a journey for me. I would go to events and people would say, "What do you do?" And I'd be like, "Oh." And then it was like, okay, now like such a process of just owning that that's really what I do, and I do it freaking well.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. So, when did you like fully went online and start, your online journey?
I would say my real start, like my real start was the year my son was born,
Mm,
2018. So I had been doing it since 2016, but like when I actually was like, this is a real thing, was 2018. So not too long ago.
no, like
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Petya. Hi,
Hi,
Benny.
Petya. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura. How are you? So, like, your relationship with your husband was your catalyst to
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
And like how it was for you at the beginning, I know you have like an incredible story on how you met him and how you got together.
Yeah, it's kind of magical. Do you want me to share the story,
Yes.
or you want me to answer the question?
No,
Okay.
share.
Oh, okay. So at the time, I was working for a magazine, and so this was 2013, June 2013, Grand Prix Formula One, for anybody who knows. So we were hosting a Grand Prix party at this venue, and the team had left. I was the only one left behind with like the club owner and a few guests. And Jack wasn't at this party, by the way. And I was sitting in the office being like, oh my God, it's 3 in the morning. I'm so tired. Like, I can't wait to go home. And there was a whisper that kept saying to me, like, 5 more minutes. And I had gotten pretty good at listening to this whisper. But, in those moments, you don't know you don't even really know it's a whisper. You're
Yeah.
just like listening, right? So it was like 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. And I must have heard that about 3 times until I got the cue to leave. So I stepped outside, I called a cab. And just as the cab was pulling up in front of me, there was Jack, who, like, I don't know, he just appeared out of nowhere, but now I know he saw me and he ran. So he was there in front of me and he said, oh, you have beautiful eyes. And I was like, you have amazing hair. And he was like, so nice, helping me get my things into the cab. And I could just sense like the goodness of this human being. Like, his eyes were so kind and his smile was so bright. And he was like, I can't believe I'm meeting you just as you're getting into a cab. Can I have your phone number? And again, like, this is like past 3 in the morning. I am fully sober, by the way. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. Yes. And those are not things I would say to someone so openly. And I gave him my number, and just the synchronicities of everything that followed was so beautiful. But it was such a reminder for me of like, you can meet people in the most unexpected ways, even when it's online, for example. And to really learn to listen to like that voice that says like, you're being pulled to this place right now, like, go here or wait 5 minutes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because you trusted yourself, you trusted your intuition, and especially when we meet people on the street in the at 3 a.m. in the morning, you're like, something's off. What do you want? Like, as women, I don't know how is it for your clients, but we kind of, we are more guarded for fear. Yeah. So how did you trusted it?
I really had learned to trust myself. And like, when I say learned, I'm still learning. It's like, I don't want to make it sound like it's done. But I had really learned to trust myself, and there was a feeling in him that I recognized. Like, it felt so safe. It felt like familiar to me. And I remember the first thing the next morning, it was like the first thing I thought about was his smile. And I was like, I guess we'll see if I hear from him. And, he suggested meeting when all his friends are getting together to watch a game, which I always would tell my friends, I wish like the first date could be more casual and like bigger setting. And the place he chose was literally right in front of my apartment at the time, like directly in front. And I was like, okay, this is easy. So it is like a learning to trust yourself, and you can practice with little moments and see, like, just gauge, like, was that really your intuition? And again, like, this is an ongoing journey for me and most people.
Yes. So we met, the two of us, when did we met?
We met end of 2019.
So we met because I was giving a master class in your like mastermind
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
human design.
Yeah. I was in a business mastermind and you were a guest expert. And I remember something so specifically. You were going to a dinner party and you were wearing a sparkly scarf. And I was like, yum. I want to know her. And human design fascinated me, but there are a lot of people teaching human design. But there was just like I was drawn to you. You seemed like you were in pleasure, and I was craving more of that.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are a generator,
Yeah.
sacral authority.
Yeah.
So how it's been for you, like when you discovered human design and you start, living your design and living your authority, being more in your generator vibes?
It's been like I just got goosebumps because it's been this like almost like this sinking into myself and this permission to just know, like, I don't operate like a manifester. Like, I don't want to do outreach in my business. I don't want to do it at all. And it's not because I'm lazy. I'm actually so far from lazy. And it's not because I'm scared. Yeah, I'm not lazy at all, right? And like, it's not because I'm scared, because I take risks all of the time. It's like, because that's just not my design. And so I can let that go completely. And actually, every time I try to dip my toes into outreach, it never, ever, ever works out. Like, it doesn't, unless it's a true pull. So that's been really huge for me. Also, just the permission to do whatever lights me up. Like, I have a pretty solid team now, because there's just things I'm like, I don't want to do this. And it's the permission to hire out, even sometimes before you think you're fully ready. Because I'm a generator. My aura is what matters the most, right? What brings me joy is really what's going to like magnetize everything. So that's been like beautiful for me. And then learning to follow my sacral. I'm still learning this, but like the most recent example really of like something in my mind was not making sense, but in my body was joining opulence. So magnetic branding for me was like dipping my toes. I'm like, let's see. And it was so much fun to learn about gene keys with you, but we can introduce magnetic branding if you want to.
Yes. So I remember like we started working together on a small program. But then we did together magnetic branding. So how it has been for you, the program, what shifted, you have experiences in.
So first of all, the people that were gathered in magnetic branding was like something I never experienced before. And it was almost like this coming home for me to a place of like, I do have a very much intuitive, like healing, I'm hesitant to use that word, but like part of me that I have denied. And so being in a space of other people who are like really like comfortable or getting comfortable with that was almost like very healing for myself. And there's a special energy in the women and the people that you gather. Like it's like they're obviously drawn to you for a reason. I also found learning about gene keys to be like, it's interesting. To me, it feels a bit more feminine than human design. Because it's more contemplative, I find.
Yes.
Like, you're supposed to spend time with it. So it's been like a challenge for me, because there's the part of me that just wants to go fast and know everything. But then gene keys has like really encouraged me to like slow down and just know it's going to sink in deeper. And then knowing like there are specific words that really resonate with my brand, like that I'm meant to speak about. There are certain ways that show up that are very much in my power and others that are not. And then pulling that into my rebrand last year was really, really powerful. Like whether it was writing the copy and choosing words that we had really like fleshed out together in my branding, or even just the feeling of the essence and like getting feedback on colors and just like the whole feeling. And I would like to say like my rebrand really pulled that all together. I'm very
Yes.
happy. Yeah.
Yes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I remember when we met, hi everyone joining. I cannot read very well your names because on Instagram it's,
I see Olga, I see Benesha, I see Hannah. Hi, ladies.
I see Micah.
Bianca. Yeah.
So say hi if you have any questions, any question for me or for Diana. I remember like when I met you, like we had the discovery call actually, and I told you this picture, this brand is not you. Like you, oh sorry, you have these goddess vibes, this divine feminine, and it's not like transpiring in your brand.
I remember you also said to me, there's a fire in my eyes that I'm hiding from. And I still see that. That still for me feels like a journey. But like you really called out kind of like my nice girl.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Yeah.
And you know, it's a part of me that like I like is shedding and still shedding. And that was really powerful for me to see. Like I want to see whatever she sees in my eyes. I want to see that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so we, during the magnetic branding, I remember we created like your statement, your brand statement, your movement, your group, your colors, all tied up with, you know, the energetics behind it, behind your jinkies.
Yes. Yeah. And it was so much fun too. I think that's also important to say because sometimes these programs can feel like a lot of deep work but this was like a lot of fun. I remember grieving it ending. Like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so then how did you brought all this incredible transformation into your rebrand? Because, you know, now it's incredible, amazing, your picture, your website, and how this impacted your business and your revenue and also living more your design.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like my rebrand was, I don't want to say easy, but it was like, it was clear. It just, the picture for me was like, it was clear. This was the direction I was moving in. And what wasn't easy was just that it required me to like really be honest about how I was meant to show up, which of course means shedding like some of the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I felt like this was a lot more bold than my old branding. I don't even know if we can say I had branding before, but like this was like for me it's like the complete picture. Like this is who I'm here to serve. This is what I'm here to say. This is how I want to do it. And of course it still evolves. These are the colors that really like make me feel lit up. Mm-hmm. Which again as a generator is really important that first and foremost, like before just thinking, what do my ideal clients want? What makes me feel lit up? And that as we were creating the website, like that's all that I was like all that I was noticing is like how does this feel to my sacral? So just allowing myself to be led by my sacral even through the branding, and then really like it's a practicing of embodying her and showing up as her on the photo shoot day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then care actually, you know, because what I see a lot of people, the quote unquote mistake is like they do a photo shoot or a brand shoot or a website because it's cool, you know, or everyone has the pink, everyone has the gold or whatever, you know, what color is on trend. But then in their own life or the way they show up online in their you know everywhere there is like a disconnection between you know the polished version and the real one.
I would say my website is a reflection of like I didn't even mean to, but like even the color I'm wearing right now. Binesha, okay, I want to answer this question. What is the sacral saying? Yeah, well, we can get to that. my brand is very much a reflection of like even my home decor and
Mm.
who like just like really what feels delicious for me. And actually not the colors are not super trendy. I don't necessarily know everything that's on trend, but like the colors are not I'll leave that to you. But they're not super trendy. They just feel really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And there is like a little bit of sacral vibe in the colors, like a bit more of like that coppery tones and stuff, like more towards the orange. Do you want me to answer Binesha or do you want to go for it,
And
Elisa?
you brought also, just to finish, like your husband in the picture.
I brought my husband in the pictures, which was a whole journey because he is not someone who wants to be, he's not on social media, he's not online, he's very private. So even that was like a journey in our relationship and conversations around like boundaries and like my rebrand was a total up leveling like all around. And then what happened after that was just like I went from people could book directly in my calendar for a consultation to now they have to apply because there are so many people requesting. And then like I can't have my calendar like just bing, 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 like all these people coming in. It was really overwhelming. Yeah, a lot has changed in my business. Yeah.
And I remember you shared with me that you had like you saw a post of someone searching for a love coach or relationship
Yes.
coach,
Yeah.
and you have, in hundreds of comments you
Yeah.
posted your own website, and the
Yeah.
woman told you, I was attracted to you for your brand.
Yeah. And I never comment on those posts ever. Like in years of being in these groups on Facebook, I've never commented on these posts. But I was drawn to the post. I left my website, and yes, she said like it was immediate, like yes, vibes to you, and she was my highest paying client. Like, and she kind of started a new trajectory of those clients. I see a question from Binesha that she wants me
Yeah,
to
the question
answer.
was for you, Diana. I heard you saying that. Yeah, you can go.
So the sacral, and Elisa, please correct me if, this is still something I'm learning, right? But the sacral is really like that womb space. So it's underneath my belly button. And it's like the chakra system, right? Or brings the systems together. So for me, this is really where my yeses and my nos, this is like where I hear my yes and my no, is in that space. So I'm learning to make my decisions not from my logic, especially not from my logic, like anywhere in my body besides my logic. And more so from the pull of yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear a no, Binesha, I always examine the no. Although I know like in human design, it's like it's a yes or a no. I do like to examine my no and understand it because sometimes my no is still a fear no,
Yes.
right? So then, but where I'm more interested is in following my yes,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
And that's
So,
interesting what
yeah,
you said, because in traditional human design, people says, just follow your structure and authority and everything is going to be fine,
yeah,
But especially as women, type A, like me, like you, have been like, go, go, go getter, so much in our head. Before truly tune in and listen our sacral, that word that applies to generator and manifesting generators, because we have a defined sacral. Before we can truly listen to it, it takes time.
exactly. Because my mind is used to intervening, and so then my mind's saying, this is not the right time, don't do this, don't do that. And so then my body's reacting to those thoughts. So for me, it takes a little bit of investigating. But rather than like following my nose, I'm more interested in following my clear yes. So for example, Elisa, when you put out opulence, my mind was like, you were not looking for a high level mastermind right now at all. This is not in your peripheral. There's so many other things you could be spending your energy on, but my body was like, I want this. And not from an immature place, but like move here and you will be satisfied that you do. Right? Like go in this direction and you will be happy that you did. And I think like all the time I'm always writing in our group like I'm so happy I followed my cycle.
Yes.
Hopefully, Banesha, that's clear. So it's not from Gene Keys, it is from your human design. So as a generator, my authority is my sacral. So basically, like what I want to be listening to is my sacral.
Mm-hmm. And so you also, like, this brought you in a trajectory to bring your more pleasure.
Yes. Yes. I've been, so my one of my words last year was embodiment, and it's one of my top 3 words this year, because for me, my pleasure, Binasha, pleasure, I know, is where I thrive. I mean, most of us do. And I, especially as a generator, it's really where I thrive, but it's also what my mind denies me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have an open head in human design. So my mind like always is looking, and I have an open root. So I
Yeah.
think Lauren called it a pressure sandwich. So my mind's like running fast, and my open root is like, I need to do the next thing. So it's very easy for me to then deny myself pleasure. And by pleasure, it means anything, like sitting out in the sun for a moment, drinking a coffee slowly, taking a walk instead of sitting at my computer, if that's what I desire. So it's been a journey to sink way more into pleasure, and also way more into my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I love meditating, I love all of that, but now it's also like bringing more dance and more
Yes.
movement and more like more in my sensuality and my
Mm-hmm.
senses.
And you start painting.
Yes, I forgot about that. I started painting because I felt pulled by my sacral. So, and apparently I'm pretty good at it.
Yes, you are.
Which is cool. I mean, I've never painted before. Maybe Elisa, you can help Inesha see where can you get the human design done. Well, you could go to My Body Graph online, and that's a good place to start. So I started painting, and like we talked about my business plan being like writing poetry and painting.
Because you, like, the thing is, you had, and I see these, like, my clients that had the most explosion and success, are the women like you, because you were very in your masculine, and very much, you had all the structure there, to make all the money, to explode, to, really become huge in the industry, but there was still like a ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like if we want to talk numbers, my business has like my revenue has more than doubled since joining Opulence. And it's been like I'm in the middle of a launch right now, and I can feel I am fully in the dance between my masculine and my feminine, which are both super necessary for anybody who's
Mm-hmm.
watching, right? Like we need to get shit done, right? And so
Yes.
that's important. But then there's also the element of I know I've done what I've been called to do. And so now, even though my mind wants to tell me, keep going, make sure you don't let go until the last day, it's like full surrender. And every time I really come back into surrender, the next person joins. And I don't mean to make it sound like magic, it's just that I'm really dancing with both energies. So when you do that, it is like magic.
Yeah.
It is like magic.
And I think it's so important. Like, I always have this conversation. I also wrote an article for Entrepreneur, an interview for Entrepreneur, where, in business, we really need this balance between the masculine and feminine energy, but not only like in the outside, but also in the inside. We need this sacred union between the two energies, in order for, the money to come, the clients to come, to actually, like, because there are a lot of situations where people make a lot of money, and then they burn out, or they lose all the money, and then the month after is like a dip. But what I'm really huge on is like overflow of money, sustainability, sustainable growth with pleasure, with fun, and not with this like destroying yourself in the sake of the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is like, I have an empty afternoon, let's say, I could create work because we don't have to do that, right? Just like make things up that need to be done, or I can give myself full permission to play some music and paint. And that I get to actually enjoy my life and like really, really sink into it. And when we think about it, like that is the gift, like more so than the money I make.
Yes.
That is the gift. Yeah.
100%. So you basically, I remember like seeing a post of you after magnetic branding, like where you were like pulling up your whole year, and you said like, I doubled my revenue.
I had tripled it last year. Yeah.
How much?
Tripled.
Wow. I tripled my revenue, following my design, following my pleasure, following
I lost 12 pounds.
You lost, yeah, a lot of my, it's crazy. Like a lot of my clients send me messages, I lost 10 pounds in a month. And I'm like, what? Because, you know, when we truly, like in human design, for you who don't know, like our authority, that is like our intuition talks to us, it's never in the mind. So the mind, the brain is at service to the body.
Yeah.
But we have been told the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
Mindset, you know, all the journaling, like we all live on from the neck up.
Yeah.
And human design, it's really this unlearning, unbecoming, also, you know, with the shadow work we do with the gene keys, to really come back inside your body, to really come back inside of your soul, and then use your brain and use your body and use your masculine service to your body, your soul.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's so much fun.
And then you, like, when did we start Opulence? Like in November?
November.
You joined my high level mastermind, and what happened?
So we started end of November,
Yeah.
and I came into January being like, okay, Diana, are you ready? Because it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be fast for you this year. And it wasn't a hope, it was a knowing. And I want to make that like really clear, that distinction, because I've been in that energy before of like, this will be the year.
Yes.
It wasn't that energy. It was like, oh, this is the year, so brace yourself. Right? And in the last, so like from the first month that we started to now, I've like more than doubled my revenue. So it's multiple 5 figures in a month. I've had like media features. I'm filling my programs with so much ease. Like, and I don't mean to make that sound like a lie, because there are moments, there are dips in that process where you're like, oh shit, it's not gonna happen. But then like leaning back and coming into the group and saying, can I really trust my desire to lean back here? And everybody mirroring to me like, yes, this is your growth, is like, this is who you're stepping into. And I'm like you saying, this is the perfect place. And so then like leaning back and then watching more people flow in, and then of course like taking some action. But is my commitment this launch has been no frantic action, none. Everything has to be because I feel like doing it. That's it. And then even like writing certain emails, I sent it to the group and be like, this is the email I'm going to send out. And everybody be like, we don't hear you at all in this email. Where are you? And so then getting that feedback to say like, just speak truthfully. Like, you're not trying to sell something here. You're just speaking truthfully. And that reminder to just like come into what's true then just like opens the door for my, and I've never been more excited about my groups. Like the people who are flowing in are so perfectly aligned. Like the synchronicity between the people joining is so beautiful.
I love that. And you are not like overwhelmed, stressed. You know, as you said, of course, there are moments where we all, like, we are humans. We can't avoid thinking about that. And there are moments where we're like, oh my God, you know. But then it's like, love you too, Petya.
Love you, Petya.
It's like, it's just a moment, and then it's coming back to your truth, as you said.
And I've been way more in my truth. Like I'm in like a little peer group of like 3 business besties, and we just like chat with each other, and they're like, you're so in your flow. And they hear it in my voice. So like, you're just so in your flow. And it's like, yeah, I'm way more in alignment in this process than not.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm opening right now Magnetic Branding, my signature program, and we start the 12th of April. And I will also open like a one spot in April. So what would you say, who would you say Magnetic Branding is for, and working with me like at more closely one-on-one?
Okay, let me speak for magnetic branding. Like when I really say don't even hesitate, if you are someone who wants to really have a brand that is truly authentic and actually just like easily call in people who see your pictures, see your copy, feel your energy, and they're like, yes, I want that. You have to do the program. It's not because I want to sell Elisa. It's not at all that. It's really like the diving into the gene keys, which you can read the book, but it's not the same. Like when Elisa would interpret what that really means in the context of your business and your brand, it's a whole other layer of understanding. Oh, that feels like that lands for me. I feel that. And then I can use those words to just really, I can use those words, I can use that energy, I can use the colors and the feeling that really bring that out. It will pay itself, like, it will just pay itself because the clients will come in, and not just the clients, like your soulmate
You're
client,
so, yeah.
the people you really want to work with. I've always had clients flowing in, but it's a different story now. It's like the clients that are really aligned, because also I'm really aligned.
Yes.
Not all the time, but the majority of the time.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what would you say like makes me different from other coaches?
I have a lot to say about that. Yeah. So one thing that I noticed even in magnetic branding is your support is unconditional, and I don't mean that in a way like you have your own boundaries and you respect your own time, but it's like you're really there. So when you invest to work with Elisa, like you're really getting access. That's not always the case. And also, like I think I've said this to you before, you just give this like full permission, right? Like this full permission to be who you are, to claim that, to be okay with that, and then to see how that permission really just opens the doors. Because instead of sitting in all this doubt and questioning, your energy is clear to just like receive. And if you crave like a more sensual, pleasurable way of doing business and talking about business, and even being surrounded by other people who like are in that conversation with you, just don't even question it. Like it will up level you and it will pay off more than tenfold. Yeah.
And
So
then, you
generous.
know, we in the mastermind, we also did my wealth coding
Yes.
and psychic surgery. How it's been for you?
Yeah. So the first time we did the wealth coding, my assignment was to, oh, I love you, Elsha. The first time we did the wealth coding, my assignment was to sit in bed and it was actually just to not think for 48 hours. And I was like, oh, well, that will be really hard, but okay, I'll try. And I was like, okay, so for the next 48 hours, I'm watching Netflix in my bed, drinking coffee, eating chocolate, taking walks, doing my journal. Like I'm gonna sink into this. And like the first day of the coding, it was like a big paid in full client.
Yes.
You know, and it's, again, it's how much you're willing to receive the coding. So nothing is like blowing smoke here. It's like,
yes,
you know, there's a moment when Elisa's doing the coding and I can feel I'm also tapping into her. Like it's like this thing we're doing together and I'm like open to receiving it, and I can feel like different parts where I'm getting goosebumps and I'm like, oh, interesting. And it's also the feeling that someone is seeing you and just being there with you and like feeling your energy. It's beautiful. I love the experience.
Thank you so much for everything.
So much.
And so what are you currently doing, launching, where people can connect with you?
Yeah. So Instagram's a great place to follow along. I have School of Love, the Inner Circle. So we start next week. There's just a couple spots left. So I have a group for women who are single and women who are in relationships. So for the women who are single, it's really about getting you to that like secure space where you just know what your yeses are, you know what your nos are, you can speak your truth, you know how to receive from someone. And for the women in relationships, it's really about like releasing that control and all that sense of responsibility in your relationships, and really allowing yourself to like that inner queen to really shine so you could bring out the best in your king. And really experience love in a way where you feel totally safe to relax into it.
Yes. And you know what I always say is like your work, like it's so important what you said about the co-creative process. You know, we have to be two to do the things. Like I don't want to claim your results as my results, you know. I want to claim your results as our co-creative process together, our energy working together, and you being, as you said, being open to receive, you know, sometimes they are coaching or saying, Diana, I don't like that, like change that. Or, you know, this email, it's not really in alignment, that you are not like, oh no, you know, I'm gonna do this. You know, it's really being coachable and also being able to receive the upgrades, the energy, the shift.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's like being relaxed enough to receive it. I've gone into coaching sessions in the past where like I'm afraid that I'm not going to get what I want, and so then you don't. But when you just like fully trust that you've been led here and you're going to receive exactly what it is you need, like it all, like you're open, right? So then it really does like get to integrate. Samantha, this is for women in relationships or women who are single. I do couples work like together, like one-on-one.
Only one.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a couples group soon though.
A sign to respond to.
Exactly. So, okay, speaking about
exactly.
embodying your design.
About the responding.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking about embodying your design, it's like I've really learned to create content and offers that are in response to what people are asking for.
Mm-hmm.
And even inside of my coaching or in my group programs, like I know what we're going to cover. And that's part of my 5-1-2 is like knowing what I'm going to be teaching, but then being adaptable enough to respond to the changes and what the group needs.
Yes.
So that like when you're working with me, you're truly getting someone who's available and listening for the cues. And if you need something that's different, then we're going to adapt and really like get in tune with that and serve wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you. So thank you so much for doing this with me and sharing your wisdom. And the last thing I want to say, I wanted to say is like, Diana, you also are successful because you embody the work you teach. You embody the work you guide women through, because, you know, you are in this incredible relationship with this king. And you know, you have an incredible son that I saw growing so much in the last
It's so true. Yeah.
I remember when he was coming to the magnetic branding call, he was like teeny, and now he's like,
and like popping his face in the Zoom call being
So, you know, if you're looking for this type of work, like hands down, Diana is the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye everyone.